Everybody, we're back, and we are now listening to Dargon's latest album, Baggage, which is fucking awesome. Go check it out if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. So in this section of the tutorial, we're going to be installing the LEDs onto the now partially modified front PCB, and then we'll be testing it. So here goes. In my particular brand of backlighting, I like to use 2 LEDs. You can use more, you can use less if you want. I found 2 does the trick pretty well. These are 5000 MCD, 5mm green LEDs, the forward voltage of 2.2. This is a 1/8 watt, 100 ohm resistor. Okay? So, first things first, take that short one, bend it to the left, like so. Alright, we're going to snip off a little bit of the length. I know the lighting's bad, guys, I'm sorry. I've got 3 lights on in the garage right now, so that's going to have to do the trick. Okay. That's one down.
Let me take a look at that solder real quick.
Okay.
Point it out.
Oh, right there. That's where you want to solder it.
It's kind of out of focus. It'll have to do.
Okay. And do the same thing to the second LED. Bend the short one over to the left. Like so.
Yeah, that's okay, kind of.
Alright. We'll take some pictures later just so you can use them for reference if this video was unclear for whatever reason. Alright.
So you just measured to see how long you need to keep the peg?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I like to space them out a little bit too.
Yeah.
Get the lighting a little bit even. So I'm going to take a pair of needle nose pliers and just ever so slightly bend that up. So you can kind of see it's at an angle. When it starts here, it kind of starts to curve around a little bit. You don't have to do that, it's just the way I like to do it, because, as the pictures later will show, the other LED has been bent slightly as well. So it lines up rather nicely when you solder the 2 together. Alright?
So you're essentially soldering both of these to the same contact?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Alright. Next up, the resistor. Now the way I do it, I start the resistor out right here, where the original resistor used to be before I removed it. In this particular case, I removed it well enough so that you can actually see a hole, so you can stick it through. If you've got a desoldering iron, I'd recommend cleaning the solder up on this point before you solder in the new resistor. If not, you can always just solder it onto the top and you'll probably be okay. Look at that. Beautiful.
There we go.
Alright. Now, you don't need to do this, but I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue down over the board just so I don't cause a short in the future. Since we're not going to be using these 2 points anymore, there's no need to have them exposed. Okay, I'm just going to kind of wrap it around. Okay, and I'm holding it in place with my finger. I'm going to solder the far LED first. Alright, and now that it's in place, I don't have to hold it to do the second one. By the way, I just burned my finger I'm very used to doing that by now, but you might be unpleasantly surprised if you're doing that and all of a sudden you feel an intense heat on your finger. Yes, that is your finger burning. So be prepared, or you could use a pair of needle nose pliers or an oven mitt or some, I don't know. Just, yeah, or you could just tough it out like I do. Okay, so we're pretty much done. All I'm gonna do now is snip off the remainder here because we don't need that. And while I'm doing this, I highly recommend you take a pair of needle nose pliers. Either large ones work pretty well, or you could get one of these, which are kind of like flush with the PCB. I just bought these from Radio Shack recently. I don't know what they're called, but they're cool. We're gonna use the big one. Take this little knobby here. Instead of like snipping it off, just kind of squeeze it a little bit and then rotate, and it'll pop off really nicely. Because that's going to push against the wires I just soldered when I close it up, and you don't want that. So see, that's almost perfectly flush. Looks really good. Okay, now for the final test. I'm going to power it on. I just plugged into the AC. You can use batteries too if you want. Alright, here we go. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do something. That gets bridged. You gotta solder that. I always forget that. And whenever it doesn't turn on, that's the first thing I always check. So learn from my mistakes, kiddies. There we go, bridged. There we go. Voila. You now have a backlit LCD. Congratulations. See you later.